Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky. In this episode, I'm going to break down everything that's about to go down at UFC 315, Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena, and it's a good card. You're probably used to seeing my co-host, MMA Milo. He is MIAA today, but he will be back with us on the next show. But let's jump right into it because there are a lot of good fights to break down. We have two title fights, and both matches are incredibly compelling. We have some other intriguing fights on the main card, some solid fights on the prelims. I would probably give this card a solid B. There's a couple big fights that dropped off. We do have one of the replacements fights that we'll talk about a little bit later, but let's dive right into it. So first up, great title fight, Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. Belal Muhammad, he's 24-3. He is a wrestler, and he is on quite a winning streak. He has won 10 fights in a row. There was a no contest thrown in the middle there, and he keeps looking better and better. His fight against Leon Edwards in his last fight, he looked bigger, he looked stronger, and he was completely dominant. And his win against Sean Brady has aged quite well. So Belal Muhammad is looking really good, but so is Jack Della Maddalena. And when we talk about winning streaks, Jack Della Maddalena is on a 17-fight winning streak. He has not lost since he was a teenager. Now think about that for a moment. They were his first two fights. They were back in 2016. So the dude has not lost in almost a decade. And he's 28 years old now. His fight game keeps evolving. He is 17-2. And the odds, let me just take a quick look at that. Belal Muhammad is a minus 192 favorite. And I could see why, right? He is the champion. He's fought the better competition, although Jack Della Maddalena has fought good competition as well. Jack Della Maddalena has shown some weaknesses in his defensive wrestling game, but we don't know how good of a grappler he is because when we look at Jack Della Maddalena, he's a striker and he hits hard. He has fast hands and he is incredibly precise. He throws a lot of straight shots, has really clean technique, and is really fun to watch. And so this is an intriguing matchup. What's going to happen, when grappler meets striker? Now, this isn't the old days of MMA where it's, that pure grappler versus pure striker. Both of them have somewhat well-rounded games, but there are clear advantages. But you got to look at Belal Muhammad as being a 35-year-old fighter. And I think that's going to be a problem. I think he's going to fall off a little bit. I think Jack Della Maddalena keeps getting better, and I think the power is going to catch him. I expect to see Belal Muhammad maybe control one round, maybe the first or second round. And I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to finish it in the third round. Give me Jack Della Maddalena by third round TKO. All right, next up, we have Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. This is a great matchup, incredibly intriguing. Fiorot, let me check the odds real quickly here. And the odds, when I read this originally, I remember they were shocking. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, that's right. Fiorot is a minus 148 favorite against one of the best fighters of all time in Valentina Shevchenko, who is coming off a win, who is the champion. And yes, she lost 2 fights ago to Alexa Grasso, but she's still the class of the division. She is still that elite level fighter. And yes, she has slowed down a bit over the last couple years, but she was so far ahead of the competition. It seems that she's just slightly ahead of the competition now. But this is a tough matchup for her because Valentina Shevchenko is 37 years old. So she could have slipped even more from her last appearance. Now, Manon Fiorot, she is a boxer, really good striker. She's coming off that impressive win against Erin Blanchfield, who has, championship upside. I mean, she's legit. That is an incredible win. She has won every single fight in the UFC. In fact, she's only lost one fight. I believe that was her first fight. She presents a significant challenge to Valentina Shevchenko in her later years, but Manon Fiorot, I mispronounce the name sometimes, is 35 years old as well. So is that going to be a problem for her? I don't know. This one is kind of hard to match, but I'm going to take another upset. Give me Valentina Shevchenko by a really interesting chess match that ends in a decision. All right, third from the top, we have Jose Aldo versus Aiemann Zahabi. This is a really interesting matchup as well. Now, typically, I don't like to see two 37-year-old fighters fight against each other, but this is different. Jose Aldo is 11, and Jose Aldo is a legend. He is a minus 205 favorite, and I think it's good to have somebody like that on the main card. The walkout, the crowd will be into it, and it's not something that sometimes you'll see some of the aging fighters. They're coming to either get slaughtered by somebody that's up and coming. I think this is an appropriate matchup because Zahabi is 37 as well, but he's won, I believe, 6 fights in a row. He's on or 5 or 6 fights in a row. He's on an impressive win streak. He does deserve this step up. And despite his winning streak, I am going to go with Jose Aldo. There's just a different level of, and it's hard because there are these. Let me rephrase this. There are some intangible qualities about Jose Aldo that makes him great. Then there's the physical qualities as well, and he has still looked good. I thought he actually won his last fight despite picking up the close loss. I think this will be a fun fight, but give me Jose Aldo by decision. All right. Before that, this is the best fight on the card. It is Alexis Grasso versus Natália Silva. And the odds shocked me on that. Silva is minus 250. Alexa Grasso was the champ up until her last fight. She shocked the world with her win over Valentina Shevchenko. She has, and it wasn't like she was outclassed. She looked pretty decent in her last fight. She got the draw before that. But the thing about, and she's not an aging fighter either. I believe she's like 31, right? So she's in her athletic prime. She is probably still getting a lot better. But Natália Silva, I checked it recently, and I believe she was like on an 11-fight winning streak. And what's incredible about her, I believe that she's 6-0 in the UFC or something. She hasn't lost in the UFC, and she looks like she's the best fighter in the division. She looks like she's better than Valentina Shevchenko. She looks like she's better than Manon Fiorot. And yes, I think she's better than Alexa Grasso. I think she's faster. I think she's more athletic. I think she's more precise. I think this is going to be an incredible, high-paced, fun fight. But give me Silva by decision and to announce to the world that she's next for a title fight. All right, before that, and this is where things started to fall off because we had Benoit Saint-Denis versus Joel Alvarez, but we have a late-minute replacement, and his name is Kyle. Let me read this. Prepolek. And you should be, if you haven't heard of him, that's okay. He's only fought twice in the UFC. That was a while ago. He was 0-2. Hasn't done too well on the regional scene overall. His total record is 18-8. Benoit Saint-Denis is going to absolutely smash him. He is a minus 1,100 favorite, and he is going to win by TKO in the first round. But good on the UFC for doing that last-minute replacement. It's something that will serve up some good entertainment for fans that came looking for a finish. All right, the prelims. Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. I'm going to go much more quickly on these. Malott is a minus 192 favorite. Radke a plus 160 underdog. Radke's a little bit older. Malott still has a bit of that prospect feel. He did lose to Neil Magny, and that, kind of tamped down a lot of the excitement about him, but I think he's a still pretty solid fighter. I think he's going to get it done. I think it'll be a convincing and pretty decisive decision. Give me Mike Malott by decision. And here's the best fight on the prelim. It's Dreska Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasudavicius is a minus 298 favorite. She is the older woman, and I did not know she was 37 years old, like 37 or 36. And that shocked me because she's always had this prospect feel to her, and meaning that every fight she seems to get better. She's getting better. She's continuously steps up in competition and does well. And I was pretty shocked about this, and I was pretty shocked about the odds. Jessica Andrade, a former champ, she hits like a truck. She's very physical, very strong. Doesn't have the cleanest technical acumen, but she makes up for it sometimes in volume and aggression and so forth. And I was going to pick Jasudavicius until I looked at her age. I'm going to pick Andrade. Give me Andrade by a really fun decision that probably goes back and forth, and that could really probably go either way. All right. Before that, we have Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Cutelaba. Cutelaba is a -118. Bukauskas is a -112. Watch for Cutelaba to probably make one of the worst mistakes you can probably make, because he does have significant errors of judgment in almost every single fight in which he competes. Bukauskas is pretty good. He's not a great fighter, but he's very clean. He's very technical, and he's making improvements. Give me Bukauskas by decision. Before that, Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Ursulan. Sterling is a -298 favorite. He's got good power, not a lot of experience. He has really good technical acumen, good boxer, good kickboxer. I think he's going to get it done here. Give me Sterling by second round TKO. Before that, Marc-Andre Barrio versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva is a +124 underdog. Marc-Andre Barrio is a -148 underdog. He has our favorite. He has, he has the worst nickname, one of the worst nicknames, Power Bar. He's not that exciting. Bruno Silva used to be exciting. He used to knock people out. He hasn't been doing that anymore. He looks like he's fallen off a cliff. Give me Marc-Andre Barrio by decision, and probably one of the more boring fights on the card. Before that, we have Daniel Santos versus Young. Santos -115, Young -115, and Santos is a -105. Santos, very athletic, hits hard, and I think he's going to finish him here. Give me Santos by first round TKO. And opening the fight, let me see this. We have Brad Katona versus Beksat Almakhan. Almakhan is actually pretty good. I haven't seen him fight that much though, but he is pretty solid. I think Brad Katona, he wins. He'll beat the guys he's supposed to beat, but once there's any serious step up in competition, he doesn't do too well. I think he's going to lose this fight. Give me Bezcap by decision in a pretty fast-paced, fun fight. There you have it. Those are my picks. UFC 315 is going to be a good one. I hope you turn in. Thanks.